girl is praying, but the man is fixated on his wrist. It turns out that time is the only currency in this world. People stop aging at 25, but they can only live for another year unless they find a way to extend their time. Whether through work, gambling, or theft, the goal is to keep adding time to the wrist. Otherwise, when it runs out, life ends instantly. Time is money. Time is life. Will is an ordinary man, with less than a day to live. The young woman before him, actually 50, is his mother. She has less than 3 days remaining, and half of her time is already earmarked for rent. With 8 hours for electricity, a lingering loan forces her to work 2 consecutive days in the clothing factory, leaving no time for herself. She relies on Will to take on part-time work to survive. 2 days later, they meet at the bus station, an everyday struggle for ordinary people. To survive, Will works tirelessly, buying the cheapest coffee and eking out a life like most here. The bar becomes a refuge for many, and after a hard day of labor deducted by exploitative capitalists, Will learns from a friend that a thief has been buying drinks for the whole bar, flaunting over 100 years on his wrist. This audacity draws robbers, inevitably leading to chaos. Will, driven by instinctive chivalry, intervenes, helping the thief escape into an abandoned building. Will asks the thief if he is tired of life in the slums. The thief, who has lived 105 years among the wealthy, reveals a secret. The rich community exists to let a small number live forever, while slum taxes and prices rise, ensuring the poor never accumulate enough time. People die constantly, maintaining social balance. Curious, the thief wonders what Will would do with over 100 years. Will vows he wouldn't waste a single moment. They drink, chat, and eventually fall asleep. The next morning, Will discovers over 100 years on his wrist. The thief's gift. A note reads, "Don't waste my time looking out." He sees the thief perched on a bridge. Moments later, as Will watches in horror, the thief falls. By the time Will reaches him, the thief is gone. That night, Will gives 10 years to a friend, enough for a brief reprieve, and plans to take his mother to a better life. Will's mother clears her loan at the factory and rushes to meet him. But the bus fare suddenly doubles, and she has only half an hour left. She runs on foot, racing against time. Will, holding flowers at the station, sees her till late time runs out, and she dies in his arms. Overcome with grief, Will vows revenge on those who created this cruel system. Now, a major target for the timekeepers, Will navigates a world where every transaction cost precious years. He learns the rich have amassed unimaginable time. While transit fees from slums to wealth are exorbitant, at the casino, the stakes are higher than Will has ever imagined. Time ticks away with every hand of cards, every turn of the game. The wealthy laugh as decades disappear in a single bet, but Will plays differently. He risks everything. Sylvia is stunned, watching him walk away like a man who owns time itself. At Sylvia's mansion, guards close in. Will dives into the pool, dragging Sylvia with him. They surface together, and from that moment, she's bound to him, not as a hostage, but as a partner. Not long after, the timekeepers finally catch up. Surrounded, Will is accused of stealing time. Every second on his clock treated like evidence. He punches the guards, knocking them aside. But as more rush in, he grabs Sylvia, presses the gun to her head, and forces his way out. He drags her into a car and speeds off. The head timekeeper and his men pursue, sirens blazing through the night. The chase is relentless, tension rising with every second. By morning, the roads ahead are blocked. A trap is set. Will swerves hard, crashes through, and the car flips. Both he and Sylvia crawl out, battered but alive. The timekeepers close in fast. They sprint through alleys and knock on a stranger's door, begging for help. But fear closes the door in their faces. They try another home, but there too, no one dares let them in. Time is too precious to risk. Will and Sylvia decide to give away some of their own time to survive. Will and Sylvia walk through the ghetto streets. She's shaken, unused to this world where every second counts. Sylvia secretly calls her father. She begs for rescue, but Will cuts her off. He tells her the truth. Her father won't save her. He'll only lock her away. Later, they stop and watch crowds gathered in front of a building labeled "Out of Time." People line up desperately, hoping to buy just a few hours of life. She calls her father again, but this time Will places a gun in her hand. It's no longer about asking for help. It's about choosing a side. Sylvia dials her father a second time. Her voice trembles at first, but now there's defiance in it. She tells him she's not coming back. Vaish stays cold, warning her that Will is dangerous, that she only end up dead. The head timekeeper appears, aiming at Will. Sylvia acts on instinct, firing the gun. She saves him. Instead of finishing him, Will kneels and gives him time, the same mercy he once received. Daylight spills across the street as they rush into a waiting car and speed away. The car races down sunlit streets. Inside, silence hangs heavy. Sylvia stares at the gun in her hand, the weight of her new life. Will finally speaks. There's no turning back now. She nods, fear and resolve mixing in her eyes. They've crossed the line together. Later, they ditch the car and steal another, sleek and spotless. Sylvia hesitates only for a moment, then helps him hotwire it. Her laughter nervous but real. The world looks different in daylight. Ahead, a crowd stretches for blocks, all lined up beneath a towering building carved with the name WEISE. Men and women wait, begging for time they'll never get. Will and Sylvia smash their way into the Vaish vault. The pillar tears the doors open, and they rush inside, grabbing capsule after capsule, not one, but as many as their arms can carry. The alarms scream, guards panic, but they keep moving. Will steps forward, holding one glowing capsule high. His voice cuts through the chaos, promising not minutes, but years. One man breaks down, pressing time into a young girl's wrist. Far away in his office, Vaish watches the monitors. His empire, the order he built, slipping away in front of his eyes. But he does nothing. All he can do is watch. Will and Sylvia sit across from each other, cards spread between them. Then, the sound of boots. The timekeepers are closing in. Their safe moment shatters instantly. They burst into the streets. The doors slam shut behind them as the timekeepers fade in the distance. The woman's clock jumps as Will slips her time. Relieved, she steps aside, and Will and Sylvia move into the small apartment. But before they can settle, the door slams open again. A gang of robbers storms in, eyes locked on the glowing capsules Will and Sylvia carry. The leader grins. Hand it over. They spread out, cutting off every exit. The leader lunges, locking arms with him in a brutal time fight. Seconds bleed away, their grips trembling with raw strength. Sylvia watches, frozen, as the robbers shout encouragement to their boss. At the last second, Will twist the hold, reversing the flow. The leader's clock drains to zero. The gang recoils, fear flashing across their faces. One by one, they scatter. He collapses, lifeless, leaving Will and Sylvia alone again in the dim apartment, shaken, but still standing. They pause outside a grocery front. Sylvia stares, shaken. Morning comes, at Vaish's Grand Company headquarters, but Sylvia is waiting. She steps forward, a gun in her hand. The guards snap their weapons toward her instantly. It looks like the end, until one of the guards, Will in disguise, raises his gun not at Sylvia, but at their leader. The other bodyguards freeze. They're forced to lower their weapons. Together, Will and Sylvia push forward, taking control. Step by step, they lead her father into his own office, the Empire's heart now in their hands. Will's voice is steady. This isn't yours anymore. It's theirs. Sylvia watches her father, torn between anger and sorrow. He shakes his head slowly, almost pitying. You think you can save them? Give them centuries and they'll squander it. Time needs control. My control. Will steps closer, his grip firm on the capsule. No. Time needs to be free. Will and Sylvia back out of the office. Will raises his gun and blasts the control panel. Tires screech. Glass shatters. They're forced to stop. Oh. Help them. Sylvia nods, running toward the nearest out-of-time kiosk. At the kiosk, the little girl spreads the time to the people waiting. Eyes widen. Cheers erupt. An officer chases Will and Sylvia through the alleyways. He doesn't notice his own time ticking down. Suddenly his time runs out. He collapses. Silence. Will glances at his watch. Sylvia checks hers. Their time is almost gone. Panic flashes in their eyes. Will grabs Sylvia's drop time. Heart pounding, he runs to the car, collecting all the stored time. Come on, he shouts. They dash through the chaos together. Will gives Sylvia some time. Their eyes meet. In a moment of relief and passion, he lifts her into his arms, and they kiss as she flies with him through the streets. At the kiosk, the crowd cheers. Time is free for everyone. People run, laugh, and embrace life like never before. News spreads fast. Will and Sylvia are wanted. A bounty of 100 years on their heads. But they don't care. They've changed the system, sparked a revolution, and for the first time, life belongs to everyone. Enjoyed the story? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling adventures. Hit that bell so you never miss an update.